what's your critique of the Conservative government? What's your program, and how are people receiving that in your constituencies?
Well, I think setting the stage, and it's very much what Julia was talking about, there is an anxiety amongst citizens that even though, as we saw in the last panel, there are tremendous amounts of solutions and path towards solutions, whether it's around education or energy or investments in research or trade or international investments, we have a level of anxiety that comes from the fact that over the past 30 years, even though in Canada we've had tremendous growth in our economy, over 100% over the past generation, median family incomes have only increased about 14%. So the middle class hasn't had a raise, not a real one, in 30 years. And at the same time, there's, as it is shared around Western democracies, a sense that we have a generation where our kids aren't facing the same kinds of opportunities that we inherited through the hard work of our parents. Through no fault of our own, the world is changing. But that anxiety has been exploited by both right-wing and left-wing parties, turning it into anger and trying to get towards votes. And parties that are on the ends of the spectrum, whether it's right or left, can do well when people are voting against. But progressive parties need people to vote for. And it's always easy, as you say, Julia, to come up with the right jingle or the right soundbite that destabilizes and gets people angry. It's much harder to get people to buy into the kinds of complex solutions that we heard and that we've been hearing for 10 years from the Center for American Progress. And some of the many great ideas out there. So the big challenge that we've had in Canada has been about bringing people back into the conversation, talking about opportunity, talking about rolling up our sleeves and working together. Canada's an extraordinary diverse country that looks out towards the world for tremendous opportunities, but we now are going through a period of anxiety. And that has been exploited in the past, and what we need to do is make sure that we are putting forward a compelling narrative about building and bringing in those solutions, because people are engaged, they're aware, they're informed, they want to believe that there are paths out there. There's just a level of cynicism about our capacity to actually do it that is hinged on the breaking of the promise that growth was going to be good for the middle class. I mean, the middle class supported over the past decades agendas and political parties of all stripes across the world that were pro-growth, that were focused on fiscal discipline, tax competitiveness, investments in education, in innovation and research, foreign trade and investments. This was growth, and growth happened. But it didn't happen for the middle class. So people are ready to almost pull away their support for a growth agenda, but we as progressives know that we can't do the many things around equality of opportunity and true progress and shared prosperity unless we have the growth that gives us the capacity to do that and leads to that. So it's about turning around the conversation away from closing in on ourselves and being anxious about our governments and our future, and instead being optimistic that the hard work that got us as countries to this extraordinary place where we are now, of prosperity, of equality, of human rights, is going to be able to continue us forward to tackle the very big challenges of the 21st century.